The thing I love about my closet is that every single item of clothing I have acts as a physical breadcrumb trail to where I've been and where I'm going with my personal style journey. And to me, clothes aren't just fabric and thread, they are stories. From where a particular garment is made, to how it's made, to how I came across the item. If you've ever watched one of my videos and asked, where did I get that hat, that jacket, those shorts, those pants? Today, I got you. These are the best and worst pickups of the year so far. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Drew. What it do? It's nice to meet you. Let's talk pickups. Now, it's only right that we start with footwear, and there's a pair of shoes that I've been waiting to tell you guys about these shoes. They are by Marcus Hjorn. They are the red-brown ombre Marcus Hjorn Mary Janes in all of their beauty. I think for most men, when they see a pair of shoes like this, they're gonna have one of two reactions. They're either going to, one, lean in with curiosity and be intrigued by the silhouette and how a man can actually pull off a silhouette that is traditionally held for women's wear. Or two, they're gonna be kind of repulsed and say that this just isn't for them. Because typically when you see a pair of Mary Janes, you're not thinking about menswear, especially in the modern context. When I learned about Marcus Hjorn in January of 2025, I knew this brand had something special, a special sauce. I call their footwear design modern timelessness because their ability to take kind of more forward-thinking footwear design and pair it with traditional shoemaking is genius. From the hidden McKay stitch construction, vegetable tan leather, and seamless upper, I mean, it's just, the shoe is like, it's gorgeous because they've implemented so many of the things that make traditional shoemaking gorgeous, but they made it in a silhouette and in a model that it plays with your imagination a little bit. The team that makes these shoes is a pretty small team. I think Marcos and Ina are pretty much the figureheads. They're like a Bonnie and Clyde dynamic duo, and I love that for them. It reminds me of Lauren and I in a way. And to me, these shoes are something that I plan to cherish for the rest of my life, just because of how they're built and how I think that they will last for the rest of my life, as long as I take care of them. Also, Marcos and Ina, I got another idea for another pair of shoes down the pipeline, but that's for later, that's for later. Now, one of the worst pickups for me this year has to be these sweatpants by Balenciaga. Let me pull them out for you really quick. These are the sweatpants in question. Balenciaga is a brand that I never really understood for a long time. The prices are high, the designs can sometimes be really on the edge, and it feels like the brand is always muddled in some sort of moral controversy as it pertains to pushing the buttons of the fashion industry and just pushing the moral codes of society altogether. But while I was in Vegas, let's just say what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. But the crazy thing was that when I got these pants, the next morning I wanted to try to return them, and I very frustratingly found out that Balenciaga does not accept returns on purchases unless it's like store credit. But I wanted to get everything back. Learn from my mistake, heed my warning, make sure to check the return policy of the brand that you're gonna be shopping at. The good thing, the saving grace of these pants is that they actually fit me pretty well, and I like the way that they look. I've been looking for a pair of sweatpants. That's why I was even considering them, a wider, fuller leg sweatpants. The fact that they're Balenciaga, you know, it might be kind of a weird add to my closet. I've never owned anything Balenciaga before, but we're gonna be sticking with these pants for some time. See how it goes. First Balenciaga item in my closet, sweatpants. Now, one of the best jackets that I picked up this year was this Kapital Ringoman, I think that's how you pronounce it, Ringoman jacket from Independence in Chicago. Let me pull this out. It's the thumbnail jacket, and Kapital as a brand has continued to grow and grow and grow on me throughout the years, and this jacket is a part of the reason why that's taken place. Products like this, even the shirt I'm wearing is Kapital right now too. I think fashion should be fun, and to me, Kapital is the embodiment of fun, kind of quirky, unique, workwear, menswear, fashion done right. Americana, Japanese, it's like all these things combined into one entity, and it's fun, and that's why I love Kapital. The unique thing about this jacket, other than you can see it has this really beautiful lapelling, pockets over exaggerated on the front, everything is kind of super cool. Pockets in the back as well, which just give you a lot of just different play. Like if I'm shooting, like if I'm out in the city or if I'm doing something, like I don't need to have an extra bag. I can just throw all of the extra little camera gear in here. If I need to put the lens cap in here, I'm throwing that in there. But what really makes this jacket unique is the fact that it's only 12 ounces. It's a 12-ounce denim, so it's not too heavy. But the sleeves are even lighter. I think they're 8 ounces. So if I could have you feel how light these sleeves are, like you'd be so surprised to know that the sleeves make this jacket feel like you're not really wearing too much. Like you're almost like you're wearing a shirt instead of a full jacket, you know what I mean? That versatility is something I love when it comes to the clothes that I own. If you can wear something pretty much all seasons and not feel too uncomfortable wearing it, that means the value of that item goes way up. And that's what I saw when I put this jacket on, and it fits beautiful. It is beautiful. I love this jacket, man. So I got this in Chicago at Independence, at one of the coolest stores in Chicago. If you don't know Independence, check that place out. The Kapital jacket was one of my best pickups when it comes to jackets. Then this Umbro Palace jacket might be one of the worst. So yeah, let's have a talk about this. Actually, let me zip this guy up. Let me zip this guy up. 1 second. The problem with me and Palace is that I try to cling to my 2017 Drew before what it do hype beast persona, and I don't know, there's something that when I was like getting into fashion, you know, Supreme, Palace, Bape, all these streetwear brands were really cool to me, and they still are cool to me today. And so now that I have a little bit more disposable income, I actually bought this on eBay. I actually picked this up on eBay, and I thought, you know what, let me just give it a go. Like I don't really like have a lot of Palace in my closet anymore. Let's see if I can pull off a little bit of like 2017 Drew swag. And since we talked about the jacket, we might as well talk about the hat as well. The hat is pretty much the same story over again. In a way, I'm kind of mad at myself because I convinced myself to get this hat, and the thing is that this hat has a white inner lining, and so because it has that lining, I don't think I've even worn this hat once outside. I think I wore it just to see what it like felt like to wear, and it already has a little bit of like dirt and browning because, you know, it gets hot in here. I'm sweating a little bit right now, and so it makes me really upset at myself that it already has a little bit of dirt even though I haven't even worn it out. Like literally I still have the brim liner in here. So it's just one of those things where I have to tell myself, Drew, when it comes to Palace, unless it's like the Palace Gucci 1953s or like some Palace Evisu, I don't know if we're gonna be doing that anymore. So yeah, another one of the worst pickups of the year for me so far. Now back to the good side of my closet. One of the best jackets that I picked up this year, one of my favorite jackets, has to be the Lot 704 Taiga Takahashi denim jacket. This is absolutely beautiful. So the reason I love this jacket so much is because it's a raw denim jacket that feels nothing like any other raw denim jacket that I've ever tried on, worn, or experienced. The reason why it's unlike anything I've ever experienced is because it's about the fabric that is a part of the jacket. So this jacket, I'm not sure what weight it is. It's gotta be 12, no more than 12 ounces, probably 10 to 12 ounces, which makes it incredibly lightweight, just like the Ringoman jacket from Kapital. When you have something that's so light like that, it doesn't take as much effort to break it in as like 21 ounces or 15 ounces or something like that, something that feels a bit heavier. And so it's actually wearable in the springtime. And because it's this beautiful Type 2-esque jacket, it's gonna be wearable in the fall. It's gonna be wearable in the winter. You just have to layer with it, you know what I mean? I also just love Taiga Takahashi's selvage denim. I think the character of it has a little bit of nep, but it's not like too crazy. It feels timeless, but it feels unique at the same time. The color is a kind of unique color. I'm excited to see how this fades over time. Sticking with Taiga Takahashi is an awesome brand, but these jeans, the Lot 704, confused the hell out of me. Let me show you. So these are the jeans in question. The Lot 704, Lot 704 selvage 1920s inspired work jeans that were modeled after JCPenney workwear from the 20s, and they're this really wide fitting, beautiful selvage that's also super lightweight. There's some weird things going on with these jeans. Similar to the Lot 714 jacket, type 2 jacket, these are a pair of raw selvage denim jeans. And the thing about raw selvage denim is that it will shrink if you wash it. So this is another item that when I sized my sizing for this, I went up to a 36 waist, thinking that if I ever really need to wash these jeans, that they're not gonna lose too much of a structure, too much of a shape to how I prefer my jeans to fit. But here's the kicker. I went up a size and I actually love the way that they fit right now, relatively speaking. I like the way that they fit kind of down the leg and at the waist. They have a back cinch, as you can see here. So like I just pulled that back cinch all the way so that it feels way smaller than a 36. And so there are aspects of the fit that I like, but as you kind of move your eye down towards how the pants interact with shoes, that's when I start to have an issue with how these fit. Because they're super wide, almost, I mean, arguably the widest jeans that I own in my closet. To the point where, like, are they too wide? And the way that the pants stack on my loafers, the Solavere loafers, it kind of looks just like they're not having a good time together. It looks like they're, you know, they're on a date, but like things are not really gelling. You know what I mean? Maybe I need to put more wears into the Lot 704 Savage jeans to get them to break in a little bit more so that, you know, as the jeans kind of get softer, they're pretty soft right now. Like I said, they're super lightweight, but as they get even softer, they'll stack and they'll kind of flow even more perfectly. That's what I've experienced with the Yojis and the Momotaros and all these other jeans that I have. Only time will tell, but that's why I'm putting it in the worst category for right now, because it makes you question your life a little bit. Like, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? What's the point of everything? With the Lot 704 jeans, I'm actually really curious, do you see that like awkward pant shoe interaction that I'm talking about? It's a really small detail, but it's a detail that I think is really important for an outfit feeling cohesive. Let me know what you think down below. Now, one of the best shirts that I picked up this year was this St. James striped long sleeve. Now, right before heading to Scotland, I wanted to pick up a base layer for our trip because I knew it was gonna be cold and I wanted to have something that I could just throw on, whether it was for breakfast or whether it was to just be lounging in different cottages and hotel rooms. And so when I saw this shirt at Nepenthes, I knew that this was exactly what I was looking for. The fit is decent on this shirt. It's not like the best fit in the world, and fit is a really big thing for me. If the clothing doesn't feel like it fits right, it kind of throws off the whole feeling that you get when you're wearing the item. The sleeves are perfect. The neck is really beautiful. It's just how long the shirt is that feels a little bit like awkward. And so I think eventually I'll probably chop off a good portion of that bottom section, not to where it's cropped, just so that it's a little bit shorter from where it is, so I don't feel like I have to tuck it or have to layer with it in order to wear it with something on top of it. Because, you know, I want to get like 3 more in different colors and stuff. St. James, hit your boy up. Or Nepenthes, you'll see me soon. So while at Nepenthes this time around, I picked up the St. James shirt, and then I also, this guy caught my eye. This is an Engineered Garments, like Houndstooth, military style pair of pants. And this is one of what I would say is one of the worst pickups for me this year. And it's not for the reasons you might think, or it might be the reasons you might think. The thing that really drew me to these pants was the fabric. You don't really see a lot of Houndstooth used when it comes to cargo pants. And so I thought this would be interesting to style because I just never seen it before. Another thing I love about these pants before we get into the bad is the weight. So you would think something like this is a relatively heavyweight garment, but I don't know if you can see, it's almost like so light that it's see-through, the fabric here. I don't know if you can kind of see my thumb right there. It's an incredibly lightweight Houndstooth, and it just kind of speaks to the level of quality this fabric is. I really love the fabric. Once again, another garment where I'm like, the fabric is really blowing me away, and you can tell that there's intentionality, there's care, and there's a lot of beauty in this fabric. The problem that I had with these pants is that they almost felt too militaristic. Like I'm having a hard time styling them in a way that feels authentic to like what I like to wear on a day-to-day. My style, it's Americana, it's Japanese, it's where I grew up in Colorado, it's mixed with traditional menswear that I picked up in New York City. It can be playful, sometimes it does have those streetwear elements. When it comes to vintage military stuff or military stuff, sometimes I feel like I'm putting on, not a costume, but it just doesn't always gel well with my closet. And so even though I had the idea that this would be a really cool piece to style and wear, it's just not working out as well as I would have hoped for my closet. And so I'm kind of disappointed by these pants. Engineered Garments is another one of those brands that's like a top 5 brand for me. Now, when it comes to sneakers, my most worn sneaker of the year has to be the Noah Converse Chuck 70 Low. These sneakers have been my bread and butter of 2026. No matter what's happening in the sneaker world, I'm always going to love sneakers. Even though sometimes I wear more loafers and I wear more Mary Janes and whatever style shoes I'm wearing, sneakers are gonna be a staple in my wardrobe forever. And one brand that I've owned in the past but kind of been sleeping on for whatever reason the last couple years has been Converse. I love the plaid upper on here. The cushioning and the comfort of these shoes is so good that I can walk 10,000 steps in these, no problem. And when I was growing up, I would never think that about a pair of Converse. But now I think what they've done, Converse has really nailed well, you could say Nike has really nailed putting a lot of the comfort of the Zoom units and Ortholite insoles into these shoes, making the toe a little bit wider, and just there's a lot of things to like about Converse in 2026 that maybe previously, if you have a bad opinion of them, I would revisit them. And these shoes are me revisiting Converse and falling back in love with what they have to offer, especially the Chuck 70. In fact, I'm kind of curious if you have a Chuck 70 collab that you think is underrated. I think this one's relatively underrated. Not a lot of people are gonna say like, oh, this is sneaker of the year. If you have a Chuck 70 collab that you like, I would be curious to know down below. I've been doing a lot more research on Chuck 70 collabs, and I'm looking to maybe pick up a pair or two if it fits my style, because these are sick. We've talked a lot about denim in this video. You guys know I love denim, and I want to show you a pair of pants that I think is really interesting, but unfortunately I'm putting in the category of the worst pickups of the year so far, but it has the potential to grow on me like a lot of these pickups. These are the Hidden Rivets rounded slub jeans. Let's start with what I like and then talk about what concerns me. What I like, the fabric, shocker. But this denim is actually some of the coolest denim that I've ever seen and touched in my life. The 21-ounce Japanese selvage denim is imported from Japan. I would almost assume that it's from Tokushima or Kojima because of the way that you have this really dramatic like irregularity and slubbing and nep that you get in these jeans. They kind of remind me of the Rainfall jeans that Left Field made. And their weight is substantial. 21 ounces, these things are some heavy freaking jeans. So this fabric is no joke. I also am a really big fan of the back pocket design. If you take a look, you can see that the back pockets aren't like what you typically see on a traditional 5-pocket jeans, but it makes the jeans feel more like slacks, or it makes them feel more like trousers as opposed to denim jeans. Now, what I don't necessarily like about these jeans, at least right now, is the fit. I went with the straight leg option and I decided to size to a 34. Now, typically my size is around a 32 to a 34. So I can fluctuate between 32 and 34, 2 inches. I almost wish I went with a 36 for this because it just feels a little bit tighter than what I want it to feel, especially for the denim being so heavy. That's probably the reason why it feels tighter, is because the denim, the fabric is so heavy, so dense. Is that even though I'm someone who kind of obsesses about fit, I think about fit, I try to understand what the product is gonna feel like before I buy it, especially if I'm buying something online. It's one of those things that, like, you're trying to support a smaller brand, and I'm not gonna support this brand. I think what they've done is incredible still. But not having the ability to try something on in person is one of those limitations that you can get it wrong, even if you really think about it really hard. for what you want. The golden rule is that if you size up, at least a little bit size up, then you can always take away, but it's very difficult to add on. Very difficult to add on. So I'm hoping that as these jeans soften up, as we get closer to the colder days of the fall, because right now it's like 95 degrees outside in New York City. It's way too hot to wear something like this. As we get cooler days, as they start to wear in, they'll start to fit better and better and better. One of the top comments I get, especially in the summer, is, Drew, how are you wearing so many layers, so many pants? Like, show us the shorts. Why aren't you wearing shorts? The shorts I'm wearing right now are from Willy Chavaria. They're an Adidas collab, and I love these. These are one of the better pickups from this year that they just aren't getting a lot of play in this video because I'm wearing them, but these are cool. And there's another pair of shorts that I want to show you guys that I think are one of the best pickups, one of the best pickups of the year for me. They are the, I think it's pronounced Kome, Betsy Ross Kapital shorts. These are incredible. So there's a lot of schools of thought when it comes to the best style of shorts. People love short shorts, people love long shorts, people love jorts, people hate jorts, people hate long shorts. All of these opinions exist when it comes to shorts. People want broad shorts, people want pleated shorts. The first thing that screams out at you when it comes to these shorts are the color. This color is gorgeous for the summer. Turquoise, obviously, like everyone knows, not everyone knows, but like it's been kind of talked about a lot that this color is like the color of 2026, the color of the summer, whatever. That wasn't the motivating force behind getting this. Well, maybe subliminally that I was influenced. But regardless, these shorts, the color is beautiful, and I think it really adds a little bit of pop and fun to my wardrobe. They're simple, they're track shorts, they have stars on the side, and then they have the Kapital logo. But what I love about them as well is that they actually zip up. Super small detail, YKK zips, but it makes the shorts that much more functional. And I love these, I don't even know what to call them. They're not called pleats. I would say that these vents exist on both sides of the shorts. For sizing, there's a little drawstring pull tab that you can use to make sure your sizing is right. I went with a size 3. I have a, like I said, 32 to 34 waist. Fits me pretty well. You can see how they fit down the leg. I'm 6'3". Love these shorts, man. Love them. And I've been wearing them a bunch this summer. It's not my intention to be like this, like show off by any means. I actually really care about product. Obviously, I'm in the space of creating and talking about fashion. I'm in the industry, so sometimes I get the opportunity to experience clothes or to acquire clothes in a way that is a lot different from the average person. And I feel really grateful for that. I know I try not to overconsume, even though that's a crazy statement in a video talking about pickups. Of course, I don't want to make it seem like, you know, I picked up all these things at one time. Think about that when it comes to your own consumer behavior. Let me know which of the items that you like the most down below. Let me know if you like this format. You know, just hanging out in my closet. As always, I'm spreading peace, love, and positivity in 2026. So that means I hope peace, love, and positivity are in your mix. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful rest of your day. Abianto. Peace. Good post vid. Here are the fist bumps for the one time. Bah! Thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. Here's the second fist bump for the 2-time. I appreciate you guys so much. PVV for the hashtag, well, for the post vid, hashtag PVV when you answer. Let me know. We're heading into the final chapter of 2026 PVV. It's the final countdown. Like, it's August and then September, October, November, December 2027. So let me know, hashtag PVV when you answer. Let me know what you want to see from this channel heading into September, October, November, December. Let me know. I would love to cater to that. Boys gotta eat. Love you, PVV. Peace.